The Ottawa Senators win 5-4 in a shootout over the Montreal Canadiens in one of the most controversial games I've seen in a while. But first, let's get to the lineup. The Sens' Thomas Chabot comes back into the lineup in place of Braden Coburn. Chabot back from injury. Coburn sent down to the taxi squad. Everything else stays the same. Matt Murray gets to start again. Carey Price gets to start in net for Montreal, replacing Jake Allen from last game. 36 into the first period, Drake Batherson would score his 5th of the season, assisted by Derek Stepan and Artyom Zub. Drake Batherson has now 3 goals in his last 3 games, and while his last 2 were somewhat of the fortunate variety, this one was all him all the way, as he makes a great forehand to backhand play to beat Carey Price. No chance for Price on that one. It's 1-0 Sens. On the power play, Batherson makes a great pass to Brady Tkachuk. Tkachuk comes in and he scores on Price. And for Carey Price, that goal has a bit of an odor to it. That's one he definitely should have had for sure. Tkachuk gets the shot away. It's not the hardest shot in the world. It's not like it was a totally unstoppable one. Well, the Batherson one, you couldn't blame Price on. This one's on him, and it's 2-0 Sens on the power play. Ottawa would just keep giving Shea Weber free cracks at the net for whatever reason. He eventually finds the net as it goes in off of Zaitsev's skate. That's Shea Weber's 3rd of the season. That one comes 16:03 into the first period. The Sens lead's cut in half, and that's how the first period would end. At the end of that first period, Josh Anderson takes a brain-dead penalty as he hits Eric Goodbranson from behind. Anderson looked like he was accusing Goodbranson of diving, but we have to remember, even though Goodbranson's a huge man, Anderson's also a huge man. And these guys are on skates too, so if you're Goodbranson and you don't see Anderson coming because your back is facing him and he hits you, you're going to go down, of course. And that was a really dangerous play by Josh Anderson. I don't know how he could even argue that one. Anderson has been playing kind of dirty in these 4 games so far. He's been, kind of a villain somewhat of the Ottawa Senators. And things would get worse for the Habs as Shea Weber would take a high-sticking penalty, a 4-minute double minor high-sticking penalty, as he would chip Brady Tkachuk's tooth, or I think a couple teeth anyways. And it's like, oh, he's wearing a mouth guard and he gets his teeth chipped like that. That can't be a good feeling. But Tkachuk, being who he is, wants to get out there on the power play. Like, if I chipped a tooth, or if I got my teeth chipped or something like that, I'd be like, I wouldn't be worried about the power play. I'd just be like, I couldn't even focus on the game the rest of the way. I'd be like, oh my gosh, I chipped my tooth. What do I do now? It'd feel like the end of the world for me. 3:41 into that second period, with the Habs being in penalty trouble, Erik Brannstrom would finally score his 1st of the season. That one was assisted by Colin White and Connor Brown. Colin White, I want to say, he had a sneaky good game in this one. He was around it a lot. He had a lot of chances. I wouldn't be surprised to see him breaking through and start scoring a lot of goals in the near future. For Erik Brannstrom, that's great to finally have him score his first NHL goal, because, there's a lot made about this guy of how the Sens got him in the Mark Stone deal. There's a lot of pressure on him. Brannstrom, he really deserves this goal. He's been looking really good these last few games. I couldn't be happier for him. I really like him. He seems like a good, likable guy. So go Brannstrom, go. He scores, and, if he can play really well, that will ease the pain of losing Mark Stone a little bit, I should think. So what do you do if you're the Sens and you have the Habs on the run? Well, you give up a cheap goal to Jonathan Drouin. That's what you do. I mean, man, oh man, the Sens had Montreal on the run. Like I said, Thomas Chabot intercepts a pass, but he doesn't intercept it fully, and it's like sliding away from him. Chabot's trying to, pull it in like he's trying to reel in a fish or something, like he's going fishing. Drouin lifts the stick, he steals it, he scores on Matt Murray, 5-hole. That was a really frustrating one because, like I said, Ottawa had all the momentum in the world at that point. They were all over Montreal. Yeah, I know a lot of it was power play pressure, but even shortly after that power play, the Sens were really all over the Habs, and then they give up a goal like that. That goal would give the Habs life as Shea Weber would score his 2nd of the game, his 4th of the season, 10:06 into the second. And again, the Sens just kind of seem to be content with letting him fire away. And if you don't want to block a Shea Weber shot, the best thing to do is shade him at the point, be right with them there, covering him, so the Habs won't even want to pass the puck to him because they'll have the deterrent of having an Ottawa player stick right there that could easily intercept it. So we go to the 3rd period, all knotted up at 3, and Ottawa, I want to say this was a very odd game because the Sens played really good and they played really bad too. And by that I mean they were so dangerous. This is the most dangerous I thought they looked offensively all season long. But yet they made the Habs look pretty darn dangerous too in their own end. And I'm not taking anything away from Montreal. Montreal's a good team. But, you know, come on, Ottawa really should have buckled down more defensively. They sacrificed a bit of their defense today for offense. It was really a back and forth game, a lot of chances both ways. It was a real barn burner, that's for sure. And now I know Claude Julien, I found out the news this morning that he did lose his job. Him and Kirk Muller were fired. They have an interim head coach now. And for Montreal, I'm going to get to that in a little bit there. That's unfortunate for Julien. He seems like a good guy, good coach too. But I'm going to get to that later on. Just let me finish up the game here first. 6 into the third, Tyler Toffoli scores to get Montreal up 4-3. Eric Brannstrom, I would have liked to see him be a little more aggressive. He gets kind of, you know, caught in between. He ends up being more of a screen for Matt Murray. That one goes in. It's 4-3 Habs. Just over a couple minutes later, Brady Tkachuk scores his second of the game. And if you thought the first goal Price let in from Brady Tkachuk was one Price should have had back, well, man, oh man, this one was absolutely terrible. This was a goal literally that you would expect any NHL goalie to have, but especially one the caliber of Carey Price. And Tkachuk just kind of did a light backhand flip towards the net. I don't even know if the puck got off the ice. And it found a hole. It went in. Now, I'm not going to complain about Price letting that one in, of course. But my goodness, I had no idea that shot was going to go in. I thought, okay, it's just an easy routine save for Price. But no, it goes in. It's 4-4 all of a sudden. And even though Ottawa didn't have their best stuff in that third period, they're back even with the Habs and they have a chance to win this game. Okay, so in that final minute, the Ottawa Senators, I don't know, I always make this joke like, wow, like when the Sens are playing bad and then they end up getting a win or something, I was like, wow, despite the Sens doing everything they could to lose that game, they ended up getting a win. Well, my goodness, it looked like the Sens were doing everything they could to lose that game in the final minute. And Montreal would score a goal, apparently, scored by Brendan Gallagher, but then they call it back on goaltender interference. And I saw a lot of Sens fans saying, oh yeah, it's the right call. I mean, look, if the call goes like this, if the goalie is set by the time the shot comes, he had enough time to get set, which Murray did. Gallagher did interfere with him, by the way. He spun him around. I am aware of that. And maybe that should have been a penalty anyways on Gallagher. You could make the argument for that they missed. So he spins him around. And then Matt Murray has enough time to get set. He is set by the time the goal goes in, more than ready and set to face that shot. That shouldn't have been called back. I mean, am I going to complain about it? No, because it helps Ottawa, so I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, how dare they call that goal back on the Habs. I mean, no, I'm not going to complain about it, of course. But, I mean, I got to be honest, that probably should have counted for Montreal. So we go to the overtime, all knotted up at 4. Overtime solves nothing. We go to the shootout. Matt Murray stands tall in the shootout. Stützle and Norris score in the shootout. Tkachuk was stopped by Price. And wow, the Ottawa Senators win one in a pretty controversial fashion. I felt a little bit guilty about the win after, I'm going to be honest. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below about this one. Did you feel a bit guilty as a Sens fan that maybe we got away with it? I'm not going to complain about it, but I feel a tad bit guilty maybe. I don't know, but then I'm trying to console myself and say, well, you know, as soon as Gallagher bumped into Murray like that, they should have blown the play dead anyways, and that goal never happened. So you could make that argument as well. I just want to say, though, that shootout, like, Tim Stützle and Josh Norris, boy, did they look legit in that shootout. Like, Stützle especially, he comes in down the wing, he's stick handling really fast, and bang, he just blows one 5-hole on Price. Tim Stützle, I always imagined him to be more of like a playmaker, but he's got a really underrated release, and I think more and more people are going to find out about it as time goes on. Just a quick look back on this game. Derek Stepan gets injured. It looked like a very innocent play. It looked like somebody slashed him, I thought initially, but it looked like more of a shoulder injury, so he goes off. He does not return in this game. I hope Stepan's all right, but maybe this is a chance for someone like Logan Brown to come up from the AHL and get a chance to play, but knowing the Sens, they'll probably just, I don't know, throw Artem Anisimov in the lineup or something like that. Let's get to the big news. I'm just going to make this one quick. I might make a separate video about this later on. I'm not sure. Claude Julien fired today, this morning as I woke up, and same with Kirk Muller. He's out as well. Dominique Ducharme is going to be the interim head coach, and former Ottawa Senator, most known to be a former Vancouver Canuck, but he did play a bit in Ottawa. Alex Burrows is going to get his shot at the NHL at the coaching ranks here, with being an assistant coach for Montreal. So that's going to be interesting how that goes for the Habs and Julien. I mean, it's tough, had that call stand, do you think Claude Julien gets fired? I mean, that's interesting too. Let me know that in the comment section below. But, it is what it is. I feel bad for Julien, but he is getting paid $5 million, I think, for the next year or two. So I wouldn't worry about his financial state of affairs too much. You know what you guys think in the comment section below on this one. It was a very controversial game. I felt a little bit guilty through the overtime and the shootout. I was like, that probably should have counted. I'm not going to complain that it didn't, like I said, but I don't know. I would rather have the Sens win in a more fair fashion. But you know what? It is what it is. At least it set the stage for two very beautiful shootout goals from Stützle and Norris. So we got to see that at least. And that's all. So please like and subscribe and share this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you again soon.